that I can make a limb Temurah. That means if I have an animal that's kodesh, and I have an animal that's chulin, and I say the limb of this chulin animal should be Temurah of that animal, so this limb becomes kodesh, and the kedusha spreads to the whole animal, and I have now a second animal that's kodesh. He says, look at it like this. He says, if you would have walked over to that animal in the first place, and you just would have been makdish that limb would have become kodesh, and it would have spread to the whole animal. So that's exactly what you did here. You took the kedusha from this, and you put it onto that limb. It spreads to the whole animal. That's Rabbi Yossi's opinion.
But it has to be a tam. What if it's a Baal Mum?
No, so then it can never get original kedusha like that. Tanur Rabbanan. You're going to see that the Bais is going to elaborate on this, on the opinions in the Mishnah. Yochel could have thought that the leg of this animal should be someone says the leg of this animal should be Eily, that the whole animal becomes an Eily, a sacrifice. Talmud Laimar, the pasuk teaches us that no, it doesn't work like that. From it to Hashem, but not entirely to Hashem. So 1 second, Yachal Teitzi L'chulin. So maybe nothing happened there. You can't consecrate even the limb itself. If the whole animal doesn't become Kodesh, as we're saying, maybe nothing becomes Kodesh. It says Talmud Laimar Yeh Kodesh. It is Kodesh. So then what do you do? Okay, Tzad, how do you do this? Timachal Tzarchei Eilos. What you do, this is Divrei Meir Rabbi Yehuda. This is the opinion of Rabbi and Rabbi Yehuda. What you do is, you take this animal, you find the guy that needs an Eila, you sell him the Eila, you sell him this animal that has one limb that's an Eila. You take the value of the whole animal and it's all yours, except for the value of that one limb, which that is not considered yours, that's considered Eila value, because that already it was consecrated, that one limb.
But now that guy just did Temurah. Or no, you just did Temurah.
How did you do Temurah?
You swapped your limb for $50.
So how does that work? That's the pidyon.
Guess what? You got lucky.
This wasn't a real carbon yet. This wasn't a real carbon. It just was designated.
Right, so
but it wasn't a real carbon.
Is.
No. Temurah is specifically when you use the language harezu tachazu or the Temurah zu.
So you're saying instead of this leg, I'm going to give $50.
This is sort of like a pidyon, where you can take the kedusha off it. This is allowed. And why exactly this? Yeah, and that.
Could
no.
You say the value of this car is going to be
That's Erechim.
Yeah.
So is the car holy?
No, but the value is holy.
No, but
the value is holy.
There's no Temurah over
He didn't
here.
designate the value. He designated the left leg.
He actually designated the leg. The only thing is we're saying that the kedusha doesn't spread to the whole thing.
Because obviously you can't put a leg on the mizbech by itself.
You can shech the animal, eat the meat, and leave the leg for the base of the
I don't think the base of English is interested in those things.
No, it doesn't work like that.
I'll take your
the way Reb Chaim saying it is that it turns into just the value of it because you can redeem it.
Looking for any legs.
Rabbi Yossi, Reb Shimon, Rabbi Yossi, Reb Shimon argue with Reb Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. We have four out of the 5 students here of Rabbi Akiva. Who's the missing one? Rabbi Elazar ben Shemua is not in this discussion. Rabbi Yossi, Reb Shimon Aimer. Rabbi Reuben from Albany is the shliach in Albany. So he wrote a commentary on the Haggadah, discussing. It says that there were these people in Bnei Brak that were discussing the whole night till the students came. So he recreated the discussion of what they were having based on their statements in the Gemara.
Wow.
A very interesting discussion. Very very interesting commentary because he recreates based on what they would have been discussing because of what the information that we have. Anyway, so Rabbi Yossi and Shimon say, "Minayin la'imar ragla shel zu oila shekula oila." How do we know that it spreads into the whole thing? Shenemar kol asher yitin mimeno la'Hashem. It says anything that you give from it to Hashem. Kishuaymer yeh kodesh l'Rabbis iskula. Now, originally I would have thought mimeno la'Hashem, from it. It means not entirely, but when it says yeh kodesh, it becomes holy. The whole animal becomes holy. So we have 2 opinions here. does the holy animal become holy when you consecrate the limb or not? So Rabbi Yossi holds that it does. Amar Mar. It was taught before. The master says, in the opinion of Reb Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, we said timachal tzarchi oilis. You sell it as a oila. The problem is that the purchaser is bringing a korban missing a limb, because he pledged that he's going to bring an oila. This limb, this animal that he got, it becomes an oila when he purchases it. But there's one limb over here that's an oila from the other guy. That's not what he pledged. He pledged the full oila. The problem is, he pledged an oila, and he's bringing an animal missing a limb. He didn't. The guy didn't really pledge a full oila. He pledged, I'm pledging an oila that could live. That means, even if it's missing a limb, not the full thing. Okay. Now we have three opinions here. Rabbi Yehuda says, that it doesn't become the holy animal doesn't become an oila, right? Rabbi Yehuda says if you consecrate a limb, so you have to sell the animal, but the holy animal is not automatically an oila. It doesn't just spread through the whole thing. That's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Rabbi Yossi held differently, but Rabbi Yehuda held that it remains just on that limb. So Rav Chizda says that Rabbi Yehuda would agree that if that limb, if it would be removed, the animal would be a treifa, that it does spread through the holy animal. Rava says that if that limb would make the animal a nevela, Rabbi Yehuda would agree that the kedusha spreads through the holy animal. If that limb would be removed, so then the kedusha would spread through the holy animal. That's in a vital part, right? In both senses of the word. So that would the animal would be totally kodesh. The Gemara now discusses these three opinions. What's the difference between Rav Chizda and his son-in-law? Rav Chizda said something that makes it a treifa. Rav said that something that makes it a nevela. It could be not a treifa chaya. There's a machlekes if a treifa can live. Rav Chizda savar la kamandam a treifa in a chaya. Rav Chizda says that a treifa cannot live, and therefore, if you consecrate the limb of an animal, that if that limb would be removed, the animal would not survive. So that's a treifa. That's exactly what we're discussing. So then the kedusha spreads to the holy animal. Rava says that all of Masechtas Chulin we learned treifas and this and that. It's not because the animal is going to die. That's a halach l'Moshe Misinai that those are treifas. Even if the animal could live longer, which is very possible, it's still a treifa. That means that if someone consecrates that limb, it doesn't mean it's a vital part of the animal. So Maya Kabein Rava or Rav Sheshes. What's the difference between Rava and Rav Sheshes? Rava said nevela only, not treifa, right? Rava said nevela. Sheshes says it only a mesa. Ikabenai Rabbi Lazar. Here we throw in the fifth student. The difference is Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar nitli yerach v'chol shaba v'chol shala nevela. Rabbi Lazar held that if the thigh was removed in a way that the cavity of the abdomen could be seen, so when it's crouching down, you can still see a gap, so then that's considered a nevela, even if the animal is still alive. It's a nevela while it's alive. It's just we consider it dead already. So the machlekes Rav Sheshes and Rava says a nevela that's good enough. This is a nevela, and Rav Sheshes says no. It's only something that it would definitely make it die. Rava savarlak Rabbi Lazar. Rav Sheshes loy savarlak Rabbi Lazar. Rava holds like Rabbi Lazar that says this is a nevela. Rav Sheshes doesn't. Okay, meisvei. What did we just say? That we quoted three opinions here of when Rabbi Yehuda would agree that the kedusha spreads throughout the whole animal, even though he says it normally doesn't. But we have three cases where Rabbi Yehuda would admit that the whole animal becomes kodesh. Amar Rabbi, come on, ask a question, because we have another part of this where Rabbi, the author of the Mishnah, comes along discussing the machlekes between these four students of Rabbi Akiva, and he says, I accept this one in this case, and I accept that opinion in that case. Yeah. That's going to mess up the statements of Rav Chizda, Rava, and Rav Sheshes, because according to the statement of Rabbi, it's not going to fit with those opinions. Again, Rav Chisda, Rav Sheshes, and Rav and Rav Sheshes are Amiroim. Rabbi's a Tana. Rabbi's discussing the Tanoim, and it's going to interfere with their comment. Rabbi says, Nirin Divri Rabbi Yehuda b'davar she'ein neshama tluya b'o. Rabbi says, I'll accept the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda if the life isn't dependent on that limb. Rabbi Yehuda says that only that limb gets holiness, but not the whole animal. I'll accept that if that limb is not a vital limb. The Rabbi Yossi b'davar she'ein neshama tluya b'o, but I'll accept the opinion of Rabbi Yossi if it's a vital limb, that the whole animal becomes kaidesh because you consecrated just that one limb. Lav mechlal. If Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says that he's accepting that opinion, in this case, that must mean that there's a machlaikas in that case, and he's accepting only one opinion. Lav mechlal de pligi alad Rabbi Yehuda, must be that they're arguing. There's some words missing here. Bishlam in there in the Rabbi Yehuda b'davar she'ein neshama tluya b'o. I can understand when he says, I'm going to accept the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda where it's not a vital organ. Why? Because Rabbi Yossi says that the whole animal becomes kodesh, even though it was just a pinky or whatever, a little finger, one digit that he consecrated. So Rabbi Yossi says the whole animal becomes kodesh. Rabbi Yehuda says no, that's not a vital organ. I grant it. But if he says I'm accepting that Rabbi says I'm accepting the opinion of Rabbi Yossi that it spreads to the whole animal. In a case it's a vital organ, that's mechlal. Must be la mechlal. The palagaler Rabbi Yehuda must be that Rabbi Yehuda doesn't say that it spreads to the whole animal. That goes against everything that we learned. We learned that if it's a vital organ, it spreads to the whole animal. Why does Rabbi say I accept the opinion of Rabbi Yossi if it's a vital organ? You could say I accept the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yehuda admits in that case. If he says I'm accepting the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, it must be that Rabbi Yehuda argues. V'tiyuv to the kulu, it's a kasha on all Rav Chisda, Rav and Rav Sheshes. The Gemara says like. So in Mechsav Achik Tani, you have to read it a little different. Nirin div Rabbi Yossi le Rabbi Yehuda, he says I'm going to accept the words of Rabbi Yossi that he said to Rabbi Yehuda b'davar she'ein tluya b'o, regarding if it's a vital organ. Shaf Rabbi Yehuda lo nechlek alav, because even Rabbi Yehuda would agree with Rabbi Yossi with Ela b'davar she'ein tluya b'o. He only argued on something that's not a vital organ. But he would have admitted, and therefore we say that he was going to accept that opinion. Let me just do another line. Okay, we'll stop here.
I love these Chasera Kamechsera's answers.